Doesn't matter what noise you sound, I can't hear any of you. It's only me that sounds daft. Big breath in, and then release to the earth. One more. Okay. Let's go through our stance training. So we're going to go through all the different bow stances. We've got side bow stance, front bow stance, empty stance, single-legged stance. And whereas normally we just do this for leg conditioning and lengthening and opening the groin, today we're going to do all of the stances with these two plates in mind. So it'll be quite challenging, I would say, because, you know, choreography is one thing, it's quite easy, you know, you just follow along. But this is a real kind of structural quality that you're looking now to maintain for the rest of your Tai Chi and Qigong journey. And it's very, very hard to maintain, especially if your habit is doing that already. You've got to start undoing years and years of habit, which takes a very long time. So stand with the feet together. Let's give it a go. I'll talk through pelvic floor and diaphragm when we're in the posture. Not much different from what we've said before, except the different poses of the lower body will make it feel a bit different. So we're going to explore the difference of what it means to align the two plates in all of these poses. So the first one is a side bow stance with your left foot. Keep that straight. Step out. Now, before you step out, notice I've squatted down, which is always what we do. In this posture, what do you think I'm doing with my pelvic floor and my diaphragm? Am I starting like this? Or the moment I come into my Tai Chi pose, do I align the two plates one over the other? And you can guess the answer. To step out, to give yourself integrity around the core, or what we call the lower dantian, which is diaphragm to pelvic floor. That's your lower dantian in Chinese, in martial arts. To enable you to step out, you align your two plates. And then you also lift the pelvic floor hammock, just as we did just then. So don't just step out and then get into it. From this pose, I'm lengthening the tailbone, folding the ribs down, bringing the abdomen towards the spine. So it's all skeleton alignment. I'm maintaining that structure, lifting up from anus to front bladder wall. You can have your hands out if you like. And only then will I step out and bring the weight onto the angled foot. So your right foot is angled here. The length is up to you. Don't make it hard on yourself today, not whilst we're doing this kind of training. The your right foot, is angled, maybe 1 o'clock. The left foot here is closed, so you've got an open groin and a closed groin. 70% of the weight is on the left. Sit down into that same squat, align the pelvis, bring the pelvic floor and the diaphragm over one another. Try and have this up-down quality. So you want from the side, you don't want to align the diaphragm and the pelvic floor like this, and certainly not swaying back. So try and have this upright pose. So you have pelvic floor, diaphragm, heart, brain, like that, all in one line, like the line of the chakras, you could call it. And then maintain that and feel what it feels like in this pose, which we do this pose, you know, pretty much every week. Does it feel different when you're both relaxing into the hip backwards and then maintaining the pelvis like a bowl, ribs down, two plates? So it does feel different to me, plus lift up the pelvic floor without doing that. Whilst rooting as well. So we have this rooting down, this lifting gentle, and then I can feel it in my lower back, that it's opening and lengthening. Then maintain that, bring the feet together. So use the core to bring you in rather than pushing off. You're really then, the pelvic floor, everything works together to bring in, and then we'll go to the other side. So both feet are straight. Maintain the 2 plates. Doesn't matter how long you need to get into this, it's worth everything that you do. So you've got, bringing the stomach towards the spine, ribs are down, less of an S curve in the lower back, column of organs over the pelvis, lift up from the pelvic floor, step out, angle the left foot, bring the weight to the left, 70%, knees align with toes, sink the hips into your squat, pelvis like a bowl, pelvic floor and diaphragm, sorry, I'm mixing my words up now. Too many P's, pelvis, pelvic floor. Ribs folded down, really feel that difference. Abdomen towards the spine, not in a tense way. I really feel, can you feel that S curve has gone a little bit now? You'll know when you're in the right area because there'll be much more pressure on the legs when you've aligned the 2 plates. If the legs are feeling light, then something is misaligned. Maintain that, feel what it feels like. Come back to the center, feet together. Even here in my squat, maintain the 2 plates. Pivot out the left foot. Step forwards. Make sure I'm in shot. Into your front bow stance, bring the weight forwards, turn the waist to about 11 o'clock. Back knee facing in the direction of the back toe, front knee in direction of the front toe, squat down, align the 2 plates. And you'll start to feel, oh, this might feel a bit easier than the last one. So you start to observe, well, where are your sticky points? Bring the weight back in, step in, pivot the toe, 2 plates here, pivot out your right foot, step forwards with the left, keep the 2 plates engaged, lifting up from the pelvic floor, waist about 1 o'clock now. And almost here I'm visualizing it as well. So I do my best for the alignment. And this is me talking to myself as me, the student now, because I'm doing it with you. So I've gone through pelvis like a bowl, abdomen towards navel, reduce the S curve, still soft. And now can I visualize the pelvic floor? Can I feel it? Can I visualize it? And the diaphragm. And I feel very different here than I would if I didn't have this focus. I feel stronger. I feel like it's more taxing, but I feel very connected around the middle. Okay, step back in. So the next one is horse stance. So angle out your left foot there. Step out wide with both feet angled. The weight is in the middle. Sink yourself down. I find this the easiest one to do. Open the knees. If that angle's too much for you, bring the angle in a bit. And then go through the same pelvis, lower back, ribs folded in, lifting up from the pelvic floor. So you want the lift, especially here where the perineum is very open. So this is known, this is called Ma Bu in Chinese, the stance, and it is really open perineum. You don't want to be thrusting forwards and lifting up the pelvic floor backwards, and the same the other way. You want this lift up, this drawing up that comes up the whole torso, front to back. Might feel different now. Very strong. You could hold this for 10 minutes in your own time. You might need to shake your legs after. Okay, maintain the 2 plates. Come into the center. Shake the legs if you need. We've got a few more to do. So I'm hoping, I know I'm talking a lot and I'm sorry it's quite a verbal lesson, but I'm hoping this changes things a little bit for you in your posture. This is all for the positive. Everything we do is to combat your daily posture that is a habit that isn't good for you. So this is the antidote to the modern posture. So the harder it feels to do and maintain, it means it's doing you the world of good. Okay, empty stance. So pivot out your left foot, bring the right foot forwards, and here, notice that my heel is a little bit lifted. The knees push forwards a bit, which rolls the pelvis under. 10% of the weight on this leg, 90 on the back. And the idea now is exactly the same. 2 plates. How does that feel in this empty posture? Ribs folded in, lifting up the pelvic floor with gentleness, not with that at all. Relaxing the waist, relaxing the lower back, not holding on inappropriately, only using the muscles to hold yourself up. Very strong, very, very strong. And then step the other foot back, change sides. Bring the hips level. So if you've got a bit of hip mobility issue, then you may start to favor a hip tilt. So bring the hips down, because otherwise your pelvic floor is like that. So bring the hips down, align again, go through everything you need to do. Relax, 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 relax. Column, lifting up the hammock. It may feel like we've done quite a workout already, and we really have. We're still at warm-ups. Okay, change again. This time, stand one leg. So you may need your hands out. I don't mind how you hold the hands. So we're going to rooster stance. And I want the same maintain. Toe can either be down or flexed. I have more balance when I flex. You can have your hands out if you would like. Slight sink into the hips so you're not locked here. Can't do it whilst I'm talking. And the idea is now, can you maintain the 2 plates? You'll get more stability and more grounding when you bring the ribs down and the abdomen towards the spine. Lift up from the pelvic floor, you'll become a lot more stable also. And those are your 2 plates, even in this posture, which is really hard to maintain. Again, in your own time, do this for 10 minutes. I wouldn't have any students left if we did this for 10 minutes. Maintain pelvic floor diaphragm connection. Shift across to the other side. Come into empty first. Come into rooster stance. And it's perfectly acceptable. I know I've got my leg up parallel to the floor. If that's not in your body today, you can just come right up onto the toe or even just hover and do this. It's not all or nothing. And here I'm trying to maintain level hips, pelvic floor lift, ribs in, diaphragm in place, body is straight, probably sweating a bit. Okay, go to the other side. We'll do one more thing. Come back into your rooster stance, and then I want you to push the heel of your foot out like you're kicking and maintain. We only will do it like once or twice. Maintain those 2 plates. Maybe 3 times, we'll do one more. And then switch. Empty pose. Rooster. Kick. Maintain the ribs down, don't sway back at all. So it's much harder when we maintain this part of the body. 2 plates. And then come down. Okay.